Tits for clicks.
It seems like some people learn climbing from TikTok. 3 friends, Dan, Becky and Hunter, decided to climb a rock.
What?
Without any safety equipment.
Okay.
And by the way, Dan thinks that he is very tough, so he decided to date 2 girls who are close friends. First, he's been having fun with Hunter, of course because she's got a very good personality, and made her get a tattoo saying 1 for 3, which means I love you in the language of idiots. And a few months later, he jumped from Hunter on her friend Becky, who is an alcoholic, and Dan got so impressed by that he immediately married her. Okay, maybe he also got impressed by something else. Apparently, Dan thinks that his fingers are as strong as the Hulk's, and being on a rock where he can hold only with the tips of his fingers, he offers his wife to jump to him. And she does it, not being afraid that they both are gonna fall. But the tough guy is scared by the bird, so he falls, saying his last words, "Delete my browser history." And after seeing her husband die, Becky somehow managed to climb the rest of the rock by herself. I think she's got some lessons from Jeremy Clarkson.
Bad news!
What? Oh no! Anyway...
And only later, she gets depressed for a year and tries to check what she will defeat faster, her thoughts about the husband or her liver. Hello.
Miss you.
And after that, she calls the local liquor store. We're out of liquor. You drank everything. And when she decides to become a statistic, her friend Hunter shows up and has an idea.
I have something that's planned.
She wants to climb on top of a 2,000 feet tall rusty tower, and she convinces her drunk friend to join her, knowing that for the recent year she hasn't held anything heavier than a glass of whiskey.
You know what? That sounds like a fucking great idea!
First, Becky disagrees, but then she remembers that she has a box with her husband's ashes, which takes up space that could have been used for a few bottles.
And you could scatter Dan's ashes on top.
So the next day the friends hit the road. And when they arrive at the tower in the evening and stay in the motel, we can see that preparation was done according to Lebowski technique.
Oh, fuck it.
Becky didn't even take a power bank for the phone.
Do you have somewhere I could charge my phone?
Highway ain't free, ma'am.
You dumb bitch.
So Hunter shows a life hack.
Now I'm just gonna line up the prongs with the elements in the lamp, and... how's that for a dummy trooper?
Well done. Good luck holding the charger like this for a few hours.
Exactly. Stupid fucking idea.
And the next morning, the girls go to the tower, and Hunter shows us what happens when you make a video blog while driving.
Worry, Becky, see, because you are safe. Look out!
No, unfortunately, it was just a warning.
You are safe. Look out!
There's a little pee coming out of me right now.
They finally arrive, and we can see how professional they are when it comes to climbing an ancient tower in the middle of a desert. They both have huge bags full of ropes and equipment.
Really?
Absolutely fucking not.
Hunter has a small backpack where she keeps a drone and 1 liter of water for 2 people in a desert, and also one 50-feet long rope, also for 2 people and for a tower that is 2,000 feet tall.
I thought you were professionals.
When I climb on a chair to change a light bulb, I still prepare better. Let's see what else they have. Sleeveless shirts, no sunglasses, no hats, and no sunscreen when they're in the middle of a Mad Max movie. And Hunter, besides wearing shorts, also keeps her backpack on one shoulder just to lose it more easily. And why do we need gloves? It's much better to cut a hand against a rusty metal and get a blood infection.
I thought you were professionals.
This is the end of the internal ladder. That's 200 feet is external.
They're linked only with each other, when a person should always link to the structure itself. So I guess if Hunter falls, Becky doesn't have any chances either. And how is Becky as strong as her friend when she has spent a year in pubs?
How's that even possible?
But anyway, the friends somehow get to the top, and meanwhile, life prepares a surprise for them.
Fuck you!
Hunter takes a few pictures and forces Becky to play a trust game. And Becky is lucky that Hunter didn't miss her daily dose of steroids. And when they are done showing off for Instagram, Becky does the most important thing and makes her husband fly for the second time.
That's polluting.
But as soon as Becky begins descending, the 200-feet ladder tells them,
So, this is goodbye. Shalom. Motherfucker.
And also shows that linking only to each other was a bad idea. But again, if it wasn't for the daily dose of steroids, the local birds would have had a good dinner. And the ladder is made of small segments, and if the top segments fell because of Becky's weight and a missing screw, why did the rest of the ladder fall?
Because fuck you.
And Hunter can somehow pull a smooth rope that has a 60-kilogram human attached to it. She is lucky that she has a good counterweight that compensates the weight of her friend, so Becky is saved.
I just died almost.
You hear me laughing?
And when they are done having fun, they finally realize that because of their shitty preparation, the situation can be described as
Beyond fucked up.
It turns out that 50 feet of rope is not enough to get down, and the backpack is chilling on the antenna, because Becky was also keeping it on one shoulder. And most importantly, they cannot watch TikTok anymore.
I don't have a signal.
The friends decide to wait for a few hours, maybe someone's gonna save them. Because going to a desert, where they might have no signal, they didn't have enough brains to take a satellite phone, and didn't inform their friends or relatives, so that if the girls disappear for let's say 6 hours, they would call the police.
The noise that this thing made when it crashed, there is no way nobody heard that.
Yeah, right, maybe a bird or a coyote. And while they're waiting, they find some gifts from the engineers and apply a tourniquet for Becky's leg. They decide to text 911 and drop the phone down.
We don't get service up here. But we definitely did down there, remember? I got all those likes.
They secure the phone, but not good enough, and drop it. So as a result, the phone breaks without sending a message. Some guy shows up, and the girls try to hit him with a shoe. But the guy's lucky, so he goes back into Walter White's van. The girls wait until evening and shoot a flare, and the guys notice it, but they're not very interested in a thank you, and maybe a few lines in the local newspaper, so they steal the car instead.
Welcome to real life.
And since Becky is bored, she burns out the precious phone battery charge, watching old videos, and she can notice that Hunter, for some reason, is not happy seeing Becky and her husband. And a few minutes later, she also notices a tattoo on her friend's leg.
Dan could never say the words I love you. 1, 4, 3.
What Hunter should have said: I am just a fan of the Roman Empire, and in the year 143, Antoninus Pius became a Roman consul, and his reign is notable for the peaceful state of the empire, without any big revolts or military incursions during this time. But Hunter admits having fun with Dan.
He was just different than every other douchebag that I'd ever dated, and I had never felt that way before.
But most importantly,
Huge dick.
Big dick.
sometime later, when there is still no help, the girls decide to get the backpack, and just to make it more difficult, they attach the rope on the opposite side of the tower, so because of that, Hunter has to risk her life and jump. Again, she keeps the backpack on one shoulder. Look, it's already falling. So Hunter hooks the rope with a selfie stick and jumps. She is lucky that the selfie stick is made of vibranium, so it can hold the weight of a backpack and a human when it's designed to hold a phone. And when Hunter tries to climb and falls, now Becky shows that she can hold the rope as good as Mary Jane. The girls decide to write a note, attach it to the drone and send it to the motel, but the drone doesn't have enough juice. But fortunately, there is a convenient socket on top of the tower, and Becky has some experience climbing poles. And since the charger is not long enough, she uses her wedding ring to extend it, and it works. That's why family is so important.
You're goddamn right it is. What's real is family.
Fuck family.
But the problem is that electricity would be turning on and off again, so Becky would have had to stay there at least twice longer while holding with her hands. But apparently, on the altitude of 2000 feet, the laws of physics are different, so the drone gets a full charge in 5 minutes.
That's just lazy writing.
The friends fly to the motel, but since instead of watching the drone, they were watching TikTok, an approaching truck was a surprise. And as a last resort, Becky pushes her friend down for having fun with her husband, but she lands on the antenna, and Becky has another bright idea. She lures a vulture with her leg, gives it a neck massage, and has a snack.
Delicious.
After that, she gets down to Hunter, writes a text to her father instead of the police, hides the phone into the shoe, and hides the shoe into the friend, and drops her. And half a day later, Becky gets saved.
Okay. How?
But how did they save her when they would have had to use a helicopter, and they wouldn't be able to approach the tower without hitting the blades against it? Apparently, they had to use the people-catching method of Nick Fury. But most importantly, having 50 feet of rope and lots of carabiners, they could have climbed down using Jack Sparrow's technique.
I remember getting too drunk with my best friends. I remember getting fucked up with my girlfriends. I remember drinking all nights on the weekends. I remember wishing this night wouldn't ever end. Life is all about taking risks, taking chances. That's what it's about, drink it up and get wasted. Yeah. Sometimes I drink too much, sometimes I get too drunk, but every time I wake up I think to myself I love being hungover.